So The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 3 has actually debuted, I guess, with a really interesting score on Rotten Tomatoes that I actually really was not expecting. The early reviews yesterday are really praising this season as being one of the best seasons of anything Walking Dead related in years, and I guess if you read a lot of the reviews, then it shouldn't be that shocking, but it still is very surprising that this show, with Season 3, after Season 2, wasn't really the best of the series, or really the best, Walking Dead thing we've gotten in a while. Like, I really wasn't that big of a fan of Season 2. Season 3 seems to be the best, Walking Dead anything that we've gotten in a very long time. So, that obviously builds a lot of excitement for the premiere this Sunday. So if you want to get my reviews and everything of every episode, definitely make sure to be a subscriber. The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 3 has debuted on Rotten Tomatoes at 80%. And so, obviously very positive. I believe that with The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 2 or like The Ones Who Live Dead City, I don't think any of them debuted this high. Like, I could be wrong with that, but I don't think any of them debuted like this. And what's interesting about this is obviously it's based off of 5 reviews here. And so all the reviews here, like if you're looking at them, there's Paste Magazine, IGN, CBR, etc. A lot of them are rating it like a 7 out of 10, 9 out of 10, right? And you have the one review here from Collider that is giving it a 4 out of 10. So that's why it didn't debut at 100%. For some reason, they didn't actually like Season 3, but when I was looking into, their explanation for everything, they actually liked Season 2 of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon and didn't like Season 3. So I wasn't a fan of Season 2, and I think most people weren't. And so if you're looking at the majority of, the opinion out there on The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, I think that more people are going to really like Season 3, and it's probably going to be, what a lot of the reviewers are saying about the show is that this season is the best thing that we've gotten in The Walking Dead in a very long time. So the way Rotten Tomatoes works, and I could be wrong with this, so definitely, if I am wrong, like correct me on this, but I believe that they count the amount of positive reviews and negative reviews, and it's sort of, I guess, it's rated based off of that, like out of 100%. So, obviously there's 5 reviews here, 4 of them are positive, 1 is negative, and so that's why we get the 80%. So because there's a lot of reviewers out there that are praising this season, I expect this to actually jump up from 80% and is likely going to be, like 90% or something like that. Like, that's kind of what I'm assuming. It's probably going to climb for sure. Maybe it hits 90%. I don't see it hitting like 95 or anything like that, but I could see it climbing to like the late 80s, early 90s for sure. And so that's really great for The Walking Dead. I think to have a season this strong is really incredible because it's something that they definitely need. I would say The Walking Dead right now is struggling to really build up a lot of excitement because they just haven't really seemed to care to do it, or like, I don't really know, to be honest. I don't know why there isn't as excitement as there was, a couple of years ago. I know people are going to say The Ones Who Live's finale ruined a lot of that, but no, that's not really what it was. Like, before The Ones Who Live, there was a lot of build up and talk to like a certain moment happening. And after that finale, it ended a lot of things, sure. But I think the issue more with all of this is really, they haven't really tried to build The Walking Dead to being something really exciting. Like, for a while after Rick Grimes left, there was nothing, with the Rick movies at the time. There was just not a lot of talk about anything, and they still built up that excitement. There was that excitement to see where things were building to, yeah, and that is kind of what is missing right now, right? Like, people want to see them all reunite. Like, any type of post that they make of anything with these spinoffs, it's always, don't care, where's Rick, right? So I imagine that is something that they do have to tease, and honestly, they would be seeing better results most likely if they actually confirmed that is something that is likely going to be happening in the future. Like, if they said, yes, it is going to be happening, Rick is returning, and, then there would be a lot of talk of like, well, is Daryl going to be there, this and that. Then it's something to look forward to, and I think that's why there was excitement with Season 4 ending, and Season 3 being this strong, I think is a really good sign that even though the excitement hasn't been there for a while, that it's likely going to be starting here. And I think AMC was smart to announce that Season 4 was the last season, because now everyone's like, well, it looks like they're likely going to reunite after that, right? I actually want to do a video after this talking about what Andrew Lincoln and Denai Guerrera have said about returning and like what the story could be like, because there's been things that they've talked about, and I've talked about it before, but I think a lot of people forget, what they were saying then. And so I want to talk about that and, sort of reference it to things that are happening now and what we know now before the Season 3 premiere here of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, and see, I guess how this could build to all of that. So yeah, really amazing debut here for the show. Like, I'm really excited. I imagine that this will be like, I guess a fresh rating at some point. The audience ratings will be really interesting. I'm excited to see, how that's going to go here. I think the one thing that The Walking Dead needs is really great positive reviews like this, because I remember with The Walking Dead season 7 and 8, things were really bad. And season 9 had some really positive reviews because it actually was a really great season and really is probably one of my favorite seasons. Season 4 could be better, but season 4 and 9, like, they're really like my favorite seasons of all time. And I think that season, like season 9, really refreshed the entire, show, just everything. And because of that, it really built up a lot of momentum going into season 10 and 11 and everything else. And so that's what they need, a season that's really good, that's getting really amazing reviews and everything, that could really reboot everything. And so that's exciting here for the show, because I think that if they do this, and I actually saw reviews saying that it's kind of sad that this is actually going to end with season 4, because, there should be a lot more seasons. Like, if the seasons are going to be like this anyways, and they can carry this momentum, keep doing that. So, I mean, to me, I think it just means that, for the reunion show, for all the characters coming together, they definitely have to have maybe David Zabel a part of it, or, the writers, or I'm not sure what it's going to be in the end. We'll have to watch the season to see, why the season works so well. Like, I'm expecting to like this season, but I will say that is also something that I'm trying to do now. I'm going into this season with the same expectations that I had before I saw the early reviews, because I think that that's the one thing. If you're having really high expectations, sometimes you could be let down, right? And sometimes you could be really disappointed. And I think, a lot of these reviewers going into this season were probably thinking, well, this is just going to be like season 1 or 2, or like Dead City, or The Ones Who Live, or whatever, like the last couple of seasons of The Walking Dead. And we're obviously blown away by what they saw in season 3. So I'm going to try to go in with those expectations, not going into this thinking, oh, this is going to be the best season in a long time, because then maybe it's just okay, right? So yeah, this is really great news for The Walking Dead. I think that to have a rating this high is really exciting. I imagine that it's only going to climb as, more reviews and stuff come in. As of right now, it's at 80%. This could change by the time this video comes out, or this could change in the next day or 2 minutes, likely going to change. And so, yeah, really great to see all the positive reviews here. I was not expecting this. I am actually wondering something, and I'll talk about this really quick here. How is this going to affect the ratings for The Walking Dead? I'm really interested in that. I know that ratings are dropping overall. So, and I mean for cable, just because it seems like everyone's getting rid of cable every single year, right? So I would think that, the ratings here are going to be lower than season 2 for sure. Probably higher than Dead City though. And I honestly think the thing with Dead City is that it aired during the spring. I think that really hurt it. As much as I really did appreciate Dead City and Daryl Dixon airing so close together, I think what they should be doing is having the old release schedule for The Walking Dead, where it airs in October to November, and then in February and March, sometimes into April. That's the best schedule for The Walking Dead, because that's where people watch The Walking Dead. It's not a lot of fun to watch The Walking Dead in the summer or the spring. Like, during those times, that's where it's fun to speculate about The Walking Dead and, stuff happening at Comic-Con or whatever, and they're filming stuff and whatever for the next season. So it's kind of cool to, to see them posting updates and stuff online. Like, that's a lot of fun to me. Instead, we're going to be getting, obviously, I think for Daryl Dixon, they've been airing it in September, and that's, I think, more okay. But for Dead City to air in the spring, it's so off to me. It really is. And I think AMC seems to really want, Anne Rice's, I guess, universe and all of that to be, I guess, very, very successful. And it seems like they are pushing that quite a bit, because they are airing a lot of their shows around when The Walking Dead normally airs. But I mean, I don't know if that's what they are trying to do at all, but it just kind of seems like it. And I think that is something that is just, it's hurting The Walking Dead, because I don't think Anne Rice's universe or anything is getting better ratings than The Walking Dead. Like, I actually think that if anything, it's doing the same or worse. So why not have The Walking Dead air, I guess during the fall and all of that, to have way better ratings? And I don't know, that's just sort of how I'm thinking of it. But yeah, just for season 3 here, I'm wondering if the good reviews here are going to increase ratings. Like, it's going to be one of those things where you have to look at AMC Plus. And I think if they announce something like, yes, season 3 broke records like this or that, then, then obviously it was really good. And I think for cable, the numbers are probably going to be around 300,000, I feel like 300 to 400, just because obviously cable numbers are dropping a lot and no one watches really on cable anymore. So I'm expecting it to be around there. If it is around 100 to 200,000, then it's like, okay, this is not the best, right? But I expect it to be better than Dead City for sure, because Dead City was around 200 to 300 or something. So Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, though. Obviously, in about a week from now, we'll know the ratings for the very first episode here. And the first episode usually is like the biggest episode for ratings. Sometimes it is different, but I think that, this episode here should be a pretty strong episode just based off of the reviews. So overall, though, yeah, I just want to get some thoughts on this. Really incredible to see this. Definitely, I'm happy to see that this season is actually getting a lot of amazing reviews here. I will be talking about the scene that actually came out the other day. This is from episode 2, they actually confirmed, and it's the scene where the community Solaz Damar, if I'm saying that right, I'm probably not saying it right, but that community is actually welcoming Daryl and Carol, I guess, to the community. And so I want to talk about that. And I also want to get into something that Norman Reedus said about Isabel's death. And I think what they're doing here, I mean, first of all, what he says about it almost feels like he's referencing stuff that I have said just because I've talked about that online, and he's saying like internet people and this and that. So I'm like, is he talking about me? But I actually like what they're doing here with Isabel's death, and the fact that, her death in season 2 is not just going to be forgotten. It's actually going to be a really big part of season 3 and stuff that Daryl is going through here. So I really do like that. So anyways, I'm going to leave it here. Definitely post your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.